To speak with you, Abigail.
How do you come?
Friendly.
I don't like the woods at night. Pray stand closer. I knew it must be you. When I heard the pebbles on my window before I opened up my eyes, I knew. I thought you would come a good time sooner.
I had thought to come many times.
Why didn't you? I'm so alone in the world now.
Are you? I hear people will ride 100 miles to your face these days.
Aye, they do, but they can only see my face, not the troubles behind it. Can you see my face?
You are troubled then.
Have you come to mock me?
No. But I only hear that you go to the tavern each night and play shovelboard with the deputy governor. And they give you cider there.
I have only once or twice played the shovelboard, but I have no joy in it.
This is a surprise, Abby. I had thought to find you more pleased than this. I hear a troop of boys will follow you step for step wherever you go.
Aye, they do, but I only get lewd looks from the boys.
And you like that not?
I cannot bear lewd looks no more, John. My spirit has changed entirely. I ought to be given godly looks when I suffer for them as I do.
Oh? And how do you suffer?
I look at my leg. I'm holes all over from their damp needles and pins. The jab your wife gave me is not yet healed. I sometimes think she pricks it open again while I sleep. And George Jacobs, he comes again and again and raps me with a stick, the same spot every night this week. Look at the lump I have.
Abby, George Jacobs has been in the jail all this month.
Thank God he is, and bless the day he hangs and lets me sleep in peace again. Oh, John, the world's so full of hypocrites. I'm told they all pray in jail.
May they not pray?
And torture me in my bed while sacred words are coming from their mouths? It will need God himself to cleanse this town properly.
Abby, you mean to call out others?
If I live, if I am not murdered, I surely will. Until the last hypocrite is dead.
Then there is no good?
There is one. You are good.
How can I be good?
Why, you taught me goodness, therefore you are good. It were a fire you walked me through, and all my ignorance was burned away. It were a fire, John. We lay in a fire. And ever since that night, no woman dare call me wicked, but I knew my answer. I used to weep for my sins when the wind lifted up my skirt and blushed for shame because some old Rebecca called me loose. And then you burned my ignorance away. As bare as some December tree, I saw them all walking like saints to church, running to feed the sick, but hypocrites in their hearts. And God gave me strength to call them liars. And God made men listen to me. And by God, I will scrub the world clean. Oh, John, you'll be so happy to see me every day, a light of heaven in your home. I will make you such a wife when the world is as it should be. Why are you so cold?
My wife goes to trial in the morning, Abby.
Elizabeth?
Surely you knew of it.
I do remember now. How is she?
As well as she may be, 36 days in that
You
place.
said you came friendly. Elizabeth is no wife for you, John.
My wife will not be condemned for me, Abby.
You brought me from my bed to speak of her?
I come to tell you what I will do in that court tomorrow. I mean not to take you by surprise, but give you all good time to think on what you will do to save yourself.
Save myself?
If you do not free my wife, Abby, I am set bound to ruin you.
How ruin me?
I have rocky proof and documents that you knew the Poppet were not of my wife's, and that you yourself bade Mary Warren to seek the new
I
lady.
bade Mary Warren, but John...
My wife will not die for me, Abby.
Oh, hypocrites, have you won him too? Why do you let them send you, John?
I want you.
They sent you. They steal your honesty.
I have found my honesty.
No, this is your wife's pleading. Your sniveling, envious wife. This is Rebecca's voice, Martha Corey's voice. You were no hypocrite.
will make you known for the fraud that you are.
And if they ask you why Abigail would ever do such a murderous deed, what will you tell them, John? What will you tell them?
I will tell them why.
You will confess to fornication in the court?
If you will have it so, so it will be.
No.
I say I will.
No.
If you can still hear me, hear this. You cannot see spirits anymore. You will tell that to the court. And you'll never cry witchery again. Or so help me, I will make you famous for the woman you claim to be.
Never in this world. I know you, John. You are this moment singing secret hallelujahs that your wife will hang.
Mad, murderous bitch!
Oh, how hard it is when pretense falls. But it falls. It falls. You have done your duty by her. I hope it is your last hypocrisy. I pray you will come again with sweeter news for me. I know you will know that your duty's done. Good night, John. Fear not, I will save you tomorrow. From yourself I will save you.
If she cannot clear her own name, then she implicates herself in the crime.
I'm innocent. The Lord knows I have not hurt them. I am an innocent woman. That woman has never shown nobody a single unkindness. You lot are the real devils.
Bishop, you stand accused of bewitching the children. Any compact you have made with the devil, you must now confess.
I am no witch.
Mr. Cheever, what were the reports on Bridget Bishop?
This very day, as she passed part of the meeting house, it was pulled down by a demon.
I'm to be blamed for a windy day.
A board that had been fastened with nails flew to the floor upon her entrance. In addition, before she was arrested, she was heard cursing in the town, shouting threats to Captain John Walcott.
That man is full of spite. His goats were in my garden, the filthy beasts. His goats were eating my food.
What are you doing to these innocent girls?
These girls are mad. I'm innocent to a witch. I know not what a witch is.
Then how do you know you are not one?
The devil take you out. All of you together.
Mass hysteria.
That's enough out of you, Mayor Easty.
Your honors! You're blinded by this girl! Open your eyes! They're ranting fools!
Who are you to make such accusations, Martha Corey, when you yourself are connected to witchcraft? We have abundant evidence in our hands to show you have given yourself to the reading of fortunes. Do you deny it?
I do. The accusation is alive. The children alive!
What are you doing to these children?
I do not hurt them! Your encouragement is the real trouble. The only thing causing those children any harm are the proceedings of this court.
Do you question the authority of this court? Authority ordained by God Almighty. How did you know Goody Warford's pigs were to die the night of your visit to her?
As you know well, Mr. Hathorn, I have raised pigs all my life, and pigs that is not fed properly is very likely to die. I had suspicions.
Suspicions? You predicted the pigs would die, Martha Corey. Confess it!
If I were guilty, I would confess it. But I'm innocent. We're all innocent!
This court is now adjourned!
Let go of her. She is innocent. I have evidence for the court.
The girls are frauds.
Beware these men, Excellency.
Remove these men! Marshal!
You're hearing lies. Lies. Thomas Putnam is reaching out for land.
This man is an agitator, Your Honor!
Arrest him, Excellency. He's been blackening my name since I arrived in Salem.
Clear the court. Judge Hathorne, clear the court.
I have evidence. Why will you not hear my evidence?
He challenges a righteous cause, Your Honor.
How do you dare come roaring in here? Have you gone daft, Corey?
You are not a Boston judge yet, Hathorne. You'll not call me daft.
Who is this man?
Giles Corey, sir, in a more contentious...
I am asked the question and I am old enough to answer. My name is Corey Sir Giles Corey. I have 300 acres and timber in addition. This is Francis Nurse, he has 500 acres. It's my Martha you be condemning. You'll be hanging my wife, Excellency. I only said she were reading books and they come and take her out of my house.
What books? What? It could be the devil's own book. Her actions are responsible for...
I won't be responsible for my actions if I hear you speak again, Putnam. Martha is a good woman. She is my third wife, sir, and I never had no wife that be so taken with books is all. Do you understand, sir? I thought to find the cause of it, do you see? But it were no which I blamed her for. I broke charity with her.
And how do you imagine to help her cause with such a contemptuous right?
You're telling lies about my wife, sir.
So you take it upon yourself to decide what this court shall believe and what it shall set aside?
Your Honor, we mean no disrespect.
Disrespect indeed. It is disruption. This is the highest court of the supreme government of the land. Do you know it?
Excellency, this man has evidence for his wife's defense. I think in all justice you must hear him.
Then let him submit his evidence and proper affidavit. You are certainly aware of our procedure here, Mr. Hale.
Come away now, Giles. We are desperate, sir. We come here 3 days now and cannot be heard.
Who is this man?
Francis Nurse, Your Excellency. His wife is Rebecca Nurse, who were just now condemned. She was well respected before the trials.
Francis Nurse, you say? We have only good report on your character, sir.
We are amazed to find you in this uproar.
Your Honor, we have proof for your eyes. The girls, sir. They are deceiving you.
This is contempt, sir! Contempt!
Peace, Mr. Putnam. Do you know who I am, Mr. Nurse?
I surely do, and you must be a wise judge to be what you are.
And do you know that near to 400 are in the jails from Marblehead to Lynn, with 72 condemned to hang upon my signature?
I never thought to say to such a weighty judge, but you are deceived.
Mary Warren, what are you about here? We hear you are sick.
She wishes to speak with the deputy governor.
She's been striving with her soul all week, Your Honor. She comes now to tell the truth to you.
Who is this man?
I am John Proctor, sir. Elizabeth Proctor is my wife.
Beware this man, Excellency. This man is set and bound to destroy my ministry.
Your Honor, I think that in all justice, you must hear this child.
We must do nothing but what justice bids us to do, Mr. Hale. What do you make of this?
God help me, I cannot say. But I'm sure the child must be her, Thomas, or we'll surely get out there to try to silence her.
Can you not listen to the child, sir?
What would you tell us, Mary Warren?
She never saw no spirit, sir.
Never saw no spirit?
Never. Sir, she signed a deposition.
No, I accept no deposition. Tell me, Mr. Proctor, have you given up this story in the village?
No, sir, we have not.
They've come to overthrow the court, Your Honor.
Quiet, Mr. Paris. Do you know, mister, that the entire contention of the state of these trials is that the voice of heaven is speaking through these children?
I do, sir.
And you, Mary Warren, how came you to cry out people for sending their spirits against you?
It were pretense, sir.
And the other girls, they are also pretending.
Aye, sir.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Proctor, before I decide whether I shall hear you or not, you must know, we burn a hot fire here, it melts down all concealment. Are you certain in your conscience, mister, that what you speak is the truth?
It is, sir, and you will surely know it.
I take it you came here to declare this revelation in the open court before the public?
I thought I might, sir, with your permission.
And what is your purpose in doing so?
Why, sir, I wish to free my wife, sir.
There lurks nowhere in your heart, nor hidden in your spirit, any desire to undermine this court?
No, sir.
I have seen marvels in this court. I have seen people choked before my eyes by spirits. I have seen them stuck by pins and slashed by daggers. I have not until now the slightest reason to suspect that the children may be deceiving me. Do you understand my meaning?
It is the children's word only, sir. And this one will swear that she lied to you.
Mr. Proctor, this morning your wife sent me a claim in which she states she is now pregnant.
My wife is pregnant, sir?
She shows no signs of it. We have examined her body.
Well, if she says she is pregnant, then she must be. That woman would never lie, Mr. Danforth.
She would not?
Never, sir. Never.
I will tell you this. If she be kept another month, and if she begins to show her natural signs, you will have her safe until she is delivered. What say you to that? Come now, you say your purpose is to save your wife, and here she is safe for this year, and a year is long. What say you to that, mister? Will you drop this charge?
I think I cannot, sir.
Then your purpose is somewhat larger.
He's come to overthrow the court!
These are my friends, Your
Would you
Honor.
not? Sit down. I'm ready to hear your evidence, Mr. Proctor. What deposition do you have for us? I beg you be open, clear as the sky, and honest.
Would you read this first, sir? It's a sort of testament. The people signing it declare the good opinion of Rebecca Nurse and my wife, Anne Martha Corey. These are covenanted people, sir, landowning farmers and members of the church. If you'll notice, sir, they've known the women for many years, and they never saw no sign of them dealing with the devil.
How many names are here?
91, Your Excellency.
These people should be summoned for questioning.
Mr. Danforth, I gave them all my word. No harm would come to them for signing this.
All innocent and Christian people are happy for the courts in Salem. These people are gloomy for it. I must think you wish to know why. This is a clear attack upon the court.
Is every defense an attack upon the court?
Mr. Chiva, have warrants drawn for all these.
No, Your Honor.
Rest for examination. Now, mister, what other information do you have for us? You may sit, Mr. Nurse.
I've brought trouble on these people.
You have not hurt these people if they are of good conscience. But you must know one is either with this court, or they must be counted against it. There is no road in between. This is a new time. A precise time. We live no longer in the dusky afternoon when good mixed itself with evil and befuddled the world. Now, by God's grace, the good folk and the evil entirely separate. I hope you will find your place with us. Child's not well.
No, she is not, sir. Mary, now remember, do that which is good, and no harm will come to thee. Understand?
John, my deposition. Give him mine.
This is Giles Corey's deposition, sir.
What lawyer drew this, Mr. Corey?
I never hired no lawyer in my life, sir.
This is very well phrased. Have you no legal training?
I have the best, sir. I've been 33 times in court in my life, and always plaintiff too.
Mr. Putnam, I have here an accusation by Mr. Corey against you in which he coldly states that you prompted your daughter to cry witchery against Mr. Jacobs, who is now in jail.
It is a lie. My daughter was grievously tormented by witches. They flew through her window, threatening her, saying she'd be pressed to death.
Our child is under attack. The devil is responsible, not my husband.
What proof do you submit for this charge?
If Jacob hangs for a witch, he forfeit up his property. That's the law. There is none but Putnam with the coin to buy so great a peace. He's killing off his neighbors for their land.
What proof, sir?
The proof is there. I have it from an honest man who heard Putnam say it. The day his daughter cried out on Jacobs, he said she'd offered him up a fair gift of land.
And the name of this man?
I will not give you no name. I mentioned my wife's name once, and I'll burn in hell long enough for that.
In that case, I have no choice but to arrest you for the contempt of this court.
But this is a hearing. You cannot clap me for contempt of a hearing.
It is a proper lawyer, is it? Do you wish me to declare the court in full session? Or will you give me a good reply?
I cannot give you no name.
You are a foolish man. Mr. Chiva, begin the record. Court is now in session. I command you, Mr. Corey.
Your Honor, he has a storing confidence.
The devil lives on such confidences. Without confidences, there can be no conspiracy against you.
Conspiracy? If your informant tells the truth, tell him to come here like a good and honest man. But if he hides in anonymity, I must know why.
Excellency, regretfully, we cannot ignore it. There is a tremendous fear of the court in this country.
There is a fear of the court in this country. It is because there is a moving plot to topple Christ in the country.
But it does not follow that everyone accused is a part of it. I know that you are a just man, sir, but there are fears.
No uncorrupted man may fear this court, Mr. Hale. None. Mr. Corey, you're under arrest in the contempt of this court. Sit down and take counsel with yourself, or you'll be set in jail until you decide to answer all questions.
Take him away! Throw him in with that swine he married!
No, Giles, you cannot!
I'll cut your throat, Putnam! I'll kill you yet!
Remove this man!
Say nothing more, John. He means to kill us all!
Fear nothing, Giles. This will set you free.
Mr. Putnam, as this line of questioning is of private matter of the court, I request that you would take your leave. You as well, Mr. Nurse. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Mary Warren's deposition. I ask you to remember, sir, that not but 2 weeks ago she acted the same as the other children act today. She howled, she screamed, she swore, familiar spirits choked her.
We all know this.
Aye, sir. Well, now she claims she lied to you. That she never saw Satan, nor any spirit, vague or familiar, that Satan may have sent to harm her. And she claims the children are lying now.
Clearly this goes to the heart of the matter. The very heart of it, Your Excellency. In God's name, sir, a claim so weighty cannot be argued by a farmer. I beg you, send this man home and let him return with a lawyer.
Now you look, sir.
I have signed 17 death warrants. I will not stand by when innocent people have no representation. This argument you must let lawyers present to you.
For a man of such terrible learning, you are most bewildered, Mr. Hale. Forgive me, for I have been 42 years at the bar, and if I were called to defend these children, I would be confounded. Now, in an ordinary crime, witnesses are brought forth to prove guilt or innocence. But witchcraft is an invisible crime. Therefore, who may be brought forth? The witch, of course, and her victims. Now, we cannot expect the witch to accuse herself, so we must rely upon the victims. And the children certainly do testify.
But this one claims that the children are not truthful, sir.
And that is precisely what I am about to consider. What more would you ask of me?
I should like to question Mary.
Mr. Paris, I bid you be silent. Mr. Herrick, bring the children here. Now you, Mary Warren, how came you to this turnabout? Has John Proctor ever threatened you for this deposition?
No, sir.
Has he ever threatened you?
He and his wife have been good to me, sir.
So you sat in my court carelessly lying when you knew people would hang by your evidence. Answer me.
I did, sir.
Did you know that God damns all liars? Or is it now that you lie?
No, sir. I am with God now.
You are with God now.
Aye, sir.
I tell you this, you're either lying now or you are lying in court, and in either case you have committed perjury and will go to jail for it. You cannot lightly say you lied, Mary. Do you know that?
I cannot lie no more. I am with God. I am with God. I am with God.
Sit down, children. Now, your friend, Mary Warren, has given us a deposition in which she claims she saw no apparitions, manifestations of the devil or any familiar spirits. She also claims that none of you saw any of these things either. Now, children, this is a court of law. The law forbids the practice of witchcraft and deems death as the suitable punishment. But likewise, children, the Bible damns all liars and bearers of false witness. Now, it does not escape me that this may simply be a trick to deceive and blind us. Satan could have very well conquered Mary, who sent her here to distract our sacred purpose. If so, her neck will break for it. But if she speaks true, I tell you, now drop your guile and confess your pretense, for a quick confession may go easier for you. Abigail Williams, rise. Is there any truth in this?
No, sir.
Children, we will look into your hearts until honesty is proved. Will either of you change your position, or will you force me the hard question?
I have not to change, sir. She lies.
You would still go on with this?
Aye, sir.
A poppet were discovered in Mr. Proctor's house, stabbed by a needle. Mary Warren claims that you sat beside her in court when she made it, and that you saw her make it, and that you witnessed how she herself stuck the needle into it for safekeeping.
What say you to that? Did you see the needle go in, child?
I did not, sir. It is a lie.
While you worked for Mr. Proctor, did you see any poppets in that house?
Goody Proctor always kept poppets, sir.
Your Honor, my wife never kept no poppets.
Your Excellency,
Mr. Cheever?
when I spoke with Goody Proctor in that house, she said she never kept no poppets. But she did keep poppets when she were a girl.
My wife has not been a girl these past 15 years, Your Honor.
But a poppet will keep 15 years, will it not?
It will keep if it is kept. But Mary Warren swears the poppet were not of my wife's. Your Honor, what profit Mary Warren to turn herself about but to gain hard questioning and worse? Mary Warren speaks the truth. Abigail saw her make the poppet in court.
You are charging Abigail Williams with a cold plot to murder. Do you understand that?
I do, sir. I believe she wishes to see my Elizabeth dead.
This child would murder your wife.
She is no child. Now here, sir, twice this year, in sight of the congregation, she has been thrown out of this meeting house for laughter during prayer.
What's this? Laughter during prayer?
I do believe this happened once. She is sometimes silly, but she is solemn now.
Aye, she is solemn to go around and hang people.
Quiet, man. Surely it had no bearing on the question, sir. The charge is contemplation of murder.
Aye, but it strikes hard upon me that she will laugh at prayer. Continue, Mr. Proctor.
Now, Mary, tell the deputy governor how you danced in the woods.
What is this dancing?
Abigail led the girls into the woods, Your Honor. They have danced.
Your Honor, this...
Mr. Paris discovered them there in the dead of night.
I can only assure you that
Is it true, Mr. Paris? She have danced.
Your Honor, when I first arrived from Beverly, Mr. Paris told me that himself.
Do you deny it, Mr. Paris? You caught them dancing in the woods.
Aye, sir.
Your Excellency, if you'll permit me. Pray, proceed. You say you never saw no spirits, Mary. Were never threatened or afflicted by any manifest of the devil or the devil's agents.
Aye, sir.
And yet, when confronted in court by those accused of witchery, you would cry out, saying their spirits reached out and choked you.
That were pretense, sir.
Then can you pretend to faint now?
No?
Why not? There are no spirits attacking you, for none in this room is accused of witchcraft. So let you turn yourself cold, Mary. Let you pretend you are attacked now. Let you faint. Faint!
Faint?
Aye, faint! Prove to us how you did so many times in the court.
I cannot faint now, sir.
Can you not pretend it?
I have no sense of it.
Might it be that there were no afflicting spirits here, but in the court there were some?
I never saw no spirits.
Your Excellency, this is a trick to blind the court.
It's not a trick. I used to faint because I thought I saw spirits.
Thought you saw them?
But I did not, Your Honor.
How can you think you saw them unless you saw them?
I cannot tell you how, but I did. I heard the other girls screaming, and you, Your Honor, you seemed to believe them. And then the whole world cried, spirits, spirits. And I promise you, I only thought I saw them, but I did not.
Surely Your Excellency is not taken by this simple lie.
What cause has she to lie? Why put herself in harm's way?
Abigail Williams, I bid you now, and I tell you this, child, search your heart, and beware of it. To God every soul is precious, and his vengeance is terrible on those who take a life without cause. Is it possible, child, that these spirits may simply be an illusion? Some deception of your mind when you...
I have been hurt, Mr. Danforth. Have I seen my blood running or have I not? I have been near to murder every day because I've done my duty pointing out the devil's people. And this is my reward? To be mistrusted, denied, questioned, like a...
Child...
Let you beware, Mr. Danforth. Think you be so mighty that the power of hell may not turn your wits? Beware of it.
What say you?
Satan is no respecter of persons, sir. He can... Oh, there is...
What is it, child?
I know not. A wind. A cold wind has come. Abby, no. Your Honor, I breathe.
Your Honor, they are pretending.
She is cold, Your Honor.
Mary, do you send this shadow upon me? Lord, save me. I pray. Abby, don't do that.
Mary Warren, draw back your spirits out of them.
Let me go, Mr. Proctor. I can't take away the shadow.
Whore! How dare you call to heaven?
Man, what do you
Mr.
think?
Danforth is lying.
Here now, she will suck a scream to stab me, but she is a whore!
You will prove this. This will not pass.
I have known her, sir. I have known her.
You are a lecher.
John, misleading the court will not further your cause.
It is true. It is true. She will deny it, but you will believe me. Your Honor, what man would throw away his own good name?
In what time? In what place?
In the proper place, where my beasts are bedded. She used to serve under my house, sir. A man may think God sleeps, but God sees everything. I know it now. I beg you, sir, I beg you, see her for what she is. My wife, my dear good wife, sir, soon after took her and put her on the high road. And being what she is, a lump of vanity, sir, I beg of you. She wished to dance with me on my wife's grave. And for well she might, for I thought of her softly. God help me, I lusted. And there's promises up sweat. But it is a whore's vengeance. You must see it now. My wife is innocent. I set myself entirely in your hands.
Do you deny every scrap and speck of this?
If I must answer that, I will leave, and I will not come back.
There is no denial, Mr. Danforth.
Remain where you are. Sit you down. Mr. Herrick, fetch Goodwife Proctor and tell her not one word of what has been spoken here. And now we'll finally touch the bottom of this swamp. You say your wife is an honest woman.
In her life, sir, she has never lied.
Good then. Turn your back. Turn your back. You two likewise. Now when Goodwife Proctor enters, no one will say one word to her, nor raise a gesture aye or nay. Enter. Mr. Cheever, you will report this testimony in all exactness. Are you ready?
Ready, sir.
Come here, woman. You will look in my eyes only, not at your husband. Now, it is my understanding that at one time you dismissed your servant, Abigail Williams.
That's true, sir.
For what cause did you dismiss her? You will look in my eyes only. The answer is in your memory, and you need no help to give it to me. Why did you dismiss Abigail Williams?
She dissatisfied me and my husband.
In what way did she dissatisfy you?
She was...
Look at me. Was she slovenly? Lazy? What disturbance did she cause?
Your Honor, in that time I was sick. My husband is a good and righteous man, sir. He is never drunk, as some are, nor wasted his time at the shuffleboard, but always at his work. You see, sir, we were a long time sick after my last baby. And I thought I saw my husband, someone turning from me. And this girl...
Woman, look at me.
I saw Abigail Williams. I came to think he fancied her. And so one night I lost my wits and I put her out on the high road.
Did your husband indeed turn from you?
My husband is a goodly man.
Look at me. Has John Proctor ever committed the crime of lechery? Answer me as your husband an adulterer.
No, sir.
She's spoken. Remove her.
This is my confession.
I'm so sorry.
Your Honor, she only sought to save my name. Excellency, it is a natural lie to tell. I beg you, stop now before another is condemned.
She spoke nothing of lechery.
I believe him. I cannot turn my face from it no more. This girl has always struck me as false. I believe this man. I cannot shut my conscience to it. Private vengeance is working through this testimony. By my oath to heaven, this girl is false!
What do you see?
There's a bird! I see no bird!
Why does she see this vision?
She sees nothing! She sees nothing! Abby, you mustn't! She's smart! Abby, you mustn't! She's smart! I'm here! I'm here! I'm here! I'm here!
Mary Ward, draw back your spirit out of her.
Mr. Danforth! Mr. Danforth!
Have you compacted with the devil? Have you?
Never! 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 Never!
Why can I only repeat you?
They're smart! They're smart! Abby, stop it! Abby, stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
A little while ago you were afflicted. Now it seems you afflict others. Where did you find this power?
I have no power. I have no power.
The gulling you, Mr. Danforth.
How came you to this turnabout these past 2 weeks? You have seen the devil, have you not?
Mary, remember God damns all liars.
I cannot hear you. What do you say? You will confess or you will hang!
Mary, remember, do that which is good and no other way.
Please step away from me!
Mary, tell the deputy governor why they must follow her!
Mary, tell him!
You are the dullest man! I'm not dying with you! I love God! I love God!
Praise God! He bid you to do the devil's work.
He come at me by night and every day to sign, to sign.
Sign what?
The devil's book? He come with a book?
My name. He want my name. I'll murder you, he says. We must go and overthrow the court, he says.
Excellency, the child has gone mad.
You cannot.
No! I go your way no more! I love God. I bless God. Abby, I'll never hurt you more.
John Proctor! You are combined with the Antichrist! I have seen your power, mister! You will not deny it!
Mr. Danforth, this is not witchcraft! You condemn an honest
I
man!
will have nothing from you, Mr. Hale! Will you confess yourself be found with hell? Or do you keep this black allegiance yet? What say you?
I say,
God is dead! Here it is, Danforth!
you are pulling down heaven and raising up a whore! A fire is burning, and it is the devil's filthy face! It is my face and yours, Danforth! For we are silent, and we know in all of our black hearts it is a fraud! God damns our kind especially! And we will burn together.
Master, take him to jail!
I denounce these proceedings! I quit this court!
Mr. Hale!
I quit this court!
Mr. Hale!
sleep, Your Honor.
Does something eat at your conscience, child?
No, not a bit. It's a dark presence. A woman comes to my bed every night and tears at my eyes.
Can you make out who she may be?
I believe she be Reverend John Pell's wife, Your Honor.
You're mistaken, child. A reverend's wife is
Safe
not like...
married to anyone, sir.
Why then? Is absolutely no one safe? Is that your purpose?
You are mistaken, child. Do you understand my meaning?
Mr. Cheever, here are the latest warrants.
There are to be more, sir?
Have you something to say on it? Good then. Mr. Herrick, you're to clear these cells to make room for those awaiting trial. Take them to the north cells and make room for the others.
But sir, there's no room.
Make room. Chain them in your own cellar if you must. Just get it done.
I see. All of you, get up!
Please, sir, my sister, Rebecca. Where have they taken Rebecca?
She's bound to the gallows!
You cannot, please, sir, I beg you.
All of you, move to the north cell, now!
Where are you taking us? Are we joining the others? Please.
We've been here months, sir. If we could just have a word with our families.
The constable has no say over them good-for-nothing judges. I'm grateful you're here to take breath.
Please, Mr. Herrick, do you have a word for my granddaughter, Margaret? She said she would speak to the court on my behalf.
She's not said a word. Now please, move to the back! Move!
Got all of us.
All of you, on your feet and move to the north cell! Deputy Governor's orders!
Do you hear that, Tituba? His Majesty's gonna free me! Your Majesty!
That's the Marshal, you fool. Herrick's no more majestic than rotting bunkum.
It is the Marshal. My pardon, sir. I thought you might be the devil come to frighten us.
Or has he come to fly me back home?
I'd not refuse him, Tituba. It'd be a proper morning to fly into hell. I think we may be there already.
This is no hell. It's too cold around here for the old boy. It's you folks. You rise him up and makes it seem a hell on earth.
Proctor, you stay here.
John, I gave money to the guard. There's a ship in Boston Harbor. It's bound for the Barbados. Come with me. They mean to take you in the morning. I never dreamt any of this for you, John. I wanted you was all. John, listen to me. There's a ship. We can see tomorrow on the ocean. The jailer will let you go. Let me call him. I must go on ship, John. Will you not speak?
It's not on a ship we'll meet again, Abigail, but in hell.
Abby! Hurry! Do you have the money? We have to go. I know, they're looking for us. I saw Mr. Paris. Mercy, come on!
Hale has returned, Excellency. And he brought contention in with him.
There are troubles brewing, Thomas.
When did Reverend Hale arrive, Sammy?
Towards midnight, I think.
What is he about?
He goes among them that will hang and prays with them. He sits with Rebecca Nurse now, hoping to get her to confess herself in order to save her life.
Mr. Herrick, fetch Mr. Paris for me.
I said.
What do you question, Hail Excellency? He's been preaching rebellion in Andover recently.
Speak nothing of Andover.
There's dissent in the town, Thomas. It has struck the people so hard that so many will not confess. They're sick of hanging. I beseech you, it must end now.
I tell you, Samuel, I shall not rest until every inch of this province belongs again to God.
So thank goodness you have arrived. Reverend Hale has returned and...
You left him alone with the prisoners?
What's Hale's business here, Mr. Paris?
He is here to bring Rebecca Nurse to God.
She would confess. Why would she not give a confession to you?
She hasn't given Paris a single word these past 3 months. But however, she sits with Reverend Hale now, her sister, Martha Corey, and 2 or 3 others. They're hoping to get her to confess to her crimes to save herself.
And they soften?
No, not yet. There's news, Thomas, that the court must reckon with.
I thought to ask you, sir. Might we consider whether it be not wise to...
Sir! My niece. She has vanished.
Vanished? Mercy Lewis has gone as well.
They... Sir, I discovered my strong box was broken into. I am penniless.
Mr. Paris, you are a brainless man.
We must get Rebecca to confess, I tell you. If the town hears that the girls have fled, they say the town of Andover has overthrown the court. I fear there will be a similar riot in Salem.
Nonsense. Why, at every execution I have seen naught but high satisfaction. They come in droves. In Ipswich there was enormous support. It was the largest audience to ever witness a hanging. Reverend Hale's attempt to diminish our work is shameful and false.
Judge Hathorne, it were another kind that hanged till now. Rebecca Nurse is no Bridget that lived 3 years with before she married. She is no Isaac Ward that drank his family to ruin. If you let Rebecca stand upon the scaffold and send up some righteous prayer, then she'll wake a vengeance on you. Postpone these hangings for a time.
There will be no postponement.
If Mr. Hale bring even one more to God, that confession will surely damn the others, and none may doubt us. Misgivings multiply when none will confess.
There is danger for me if you hang this sort. I dare not leave my house. Last night when I opened the door, a dagger clattered to the ground.
Judge Stanforth, you must pardon them.
Accept my congratulations, Reverend Hale. We are gladdened to see you return to your good work.
They will not budge. The sun is almost up. I must have more time.
I will not receive a single plea for pardon or postponement. Them that will not confess will hang. 12 have already been executed, and the village expects these 3 to die at dawn. Postponement speaks of floundering on my part. Pardon casts doubt on the court.
Have you spoken to all 3, Mr. Hale?
Albert Proctor. He's in the dungeon.
His wife must be well on with child now. Mr. Paris, you have closer knowledge of this man. Might her presence soften him?
It is possible you have not laid eyes on her these last 3 months.
Fetch Goodwife Proctor, then let you bring him up.
Excellency, hear me, I beg you. Postpone these hangings for a time. These 3 that must die in the morning. John Proctor, Rebecca Nurse, Martha Corey. They carry great weight in the town. If you put them on the scaffold and let them send up some innocent prayer, then they'll wake a vengeance on you.
Then Proctor must confess.
Your Honor, in striving for their confessions, that speaks of mercy on your part, not faltering. The people no longer support you on this. If you think God wills you to raise rebellion, so you are mistaken.
You've spoken of rebellion in Salem.
I need say nothing. Rebellion exists even without my encouragement. There are orphans wandering from house to house, abandoned cattle bellow on the road. The stench of rotting crops hangs in the air, and no man knows when the harlot's cry will end his life. And you wonder yet if rebellion be spoke, it is a marvel they do not burn down your province.
You baffle me, sir. Why did you return?
Why, it's simple. I come to do the devil's work. I counsel Christians to belie themselves. 12 lives have already ended. I stood by as they were sent to the noose. There is blood on my head. Can you not see the blood on my head?
Pray, be at your ease, Goody Proctor. We come not for your life. Mr. Hale, would you speak with the woman?
Goody Proctor John is marked to hang this morning.
I have heard it.
I have no connection with the court. I come of my own. I will get your husband to confess, for if he is taken, I count myself his murderer. Do you understand me?
What do you want of me?
Goody Proctor, I have gone this past 3 months like our Lord into the wilderness. I have sought a Christian way, for damnation is doubled on a minister that counsels men to lie.
It is no lie. You cannot speak.
It is a lie. They are innocent.
I'll hear no more of that.
Life is God's most precious gift, and no principle, however glorious, may justify the taking of it. I beg of you, prevail on your husband to confess. Let him give his lie. Do not shrink before God's judgment in this, for it may be that God damns a liar less than him that throw away his life for pride.
I think that be the devil's argument.
Are you stone? Be there no wifely tenderness within you? Your husband will die with the sunrise, your husband.
But if you confess, you will both be home tomorrow.
Pray, John, calm yourself. You do not come for her. She is safe. Go. I mean to let the two of you speak before you are. John, you are...
There's more room in the jails. I do not think that bodes well for me.
The court must have someone to confess. Give it to them, and you will be free.
None have yet confessed?
There be many that have confessed before this.
Rebecca, did she?
Not Rebecca.
I thought not. What of Giles? What is he? No. No, when were they hanged?
You were not hanged. He would not answer aye or nay to his indictment, for if he denied the charge, he would be hanged and they would auction off all of his land. His sons would be left with nothing. So Giles stood mute and died a Christian under the law.
How did he die?
They pressed him, John.
Pressed him?
Great stones they lay upon his chest, one by one, promising only to stop if he give them the words they asked for. They say he give them but 2 words. More weight, he says, and dies. More weight. I would rather he have confessed and lived.
And Elizabeth, you are certain not
John,
to...
it is not her time. John, I beg of you, confess. None would fault you for it. The people are no longer content with the trials. Many of the girls have grown silent. Betty Paris has been sent to stay with an aunt until the trials are over.
Over? Do you honestly think this will ever be done?
I pray for you, John, and for forgiveness for myself, but this cannot continue. It is not worth your life. Will you go to him? I cannot think he will listen to another.
Let me speak with him.
Will you plead for his confession?
I promise nothing. Let me speak with him.
I see light in the sky, mister. Let you counsel with your wife. May God help you turn your back on hell.
I have no word of the children.
They're well. Rebecca's son Samuel keeps them. Have you been well?
As well as I may be. What of you and the child?
It
grows.
They come for my life now. I've been thinking I would confess to them. What would you have me do?
If you would, I would have it. I want you living, John. That's sure.
I cannot mount the scaffold like a saint. I have no virtue left. That I am not that man. Let Rebecca go like a saint, but for me, it is a fraud. We spoil nothing by giving them this lie that we were not rotten long before.
And yet you've not confessed till now. Thus be goodness in you.
It is only spite that keeps me silent. It is hard to give a lie to dogs. I ask your forgiveness, Elizabeth.
You forgive yourself. It is your soul, John. Know this, for I know it now. Whatever you do, it is as a good man does it. I have sins of my own to count.
You take my sins upon you?
No, I take my own. I counted myself so plain, so poorly made that no honest love could come to me. Suspicion kissed you and I did. It were a cold house I kept. You never knew how I should say my love. Forgive me, John. I never knew such goodness in the world.
What say you, Proctor? The sun is up.
I want my life.
You'll confess yourself. God be praised, you will confess.
Praise to God, man. You shall be blessed for this. Are you ready, Mr. Cheever?
Your Honor, why must it be written?
Why, for the good instruction of the village, of course. This we shall post upon the church door. Now, mister, speak slowly and directly to the point. Have you seen the devil in your life?
Come, man, there is light in the sky. The scaffold waits.
Have you seen the devil, Mr. Proctor?
I have.
And when he come to you, did he bid you to do his work?
He did.
And you bound yourself to his service. Ah, Rebecca Nurse. Courage, man. Let her witness your good example that she may come to God herself.
John, Elizabeth, you are well?
Hear it, goody nurse. Say on, Mr. Proctor. Did you bind yourself to the devil's service?
Why, John?
I did.
John, not you. God sent his mercy on you, John.
Woman, it profit nothing to keep this conspiracy any further. Will you confess yourself with him?
It is a lie. How may I damn myself? I cannot.
Without a confession, we cannot save those who are guilty.
Can an innocent soul be guilty?
Now, Mr. Proctor, when the devil came to you, did you see Rebecca Nurse in his company?
I did not, sir.
Did you see Martha Corey with the devil?
I saw no one with the devil.
It is enough he confess himself. Let him sign it.
Did you see anybody with the devil? You must have certainly seen somebody, for multiple people have already testified that they saw both of these women with the devil.
I speak only of my own guilt.
Come then, sign your testimony. You will sign it or it is no confession, mister.
Your name, man.
You must have your name, John.
You counsel me toward deceit, Reverend? You came to save my soul, did you not?
Why do you hesitate? I begin to question your sincerity, Mr. Proctor.
Thomas, let him sign it and be done with.
It is a weighty name. It will strike the village that he confessed. I beg you, let him sign it.
You will not use me. How may I teach my children to walk in this world when I have sold my friends?
You have not sold your friends.
I blacken all of them when this is nailed to the church. The very day they hang for silence.
Mr. Proctor, I must have good and legal proof that
you are the High Court. Your word is good enough. Tell them I confess. Tell them Proctor broke to his knees and wept. But my name, sir. My name you cannot.
Do you mean to deny this confession?
I mean to deny nothing.
Then explain to me, Mr. Proctor.
Because it is my name. Because I cannot have another in my life. Because I am not worth the dust on the feet of them that will hang. I have given you my soul. Leave me my name. You have all seen me. You have no need of this.
Proctor, the village must have proof.
Damn the village! You have all witnessed it. I have given you my soul. God has seen my name. He knows how black my sins are. It is enough.
Is that document a lie? If it is a lie, I will not accept it. I will have your good and honest confession in my hand, or I will not keep you from the rope.
Little hangman, you cannot!
I can. And here's your first marvel that I can. Let it speak some goodness for me. Elizabeth gave them no tear. Show them a heart of stone. And sink them with it.
Whoever weeps for these weeps for corruption.
Pretty Proctor, go to him. There is time yet. Proctor!
The time has come, Mr. Hale. Let you fear nothing, John. There is another judgment that waits us all.
Proctor, go to him. Be his helper. What profit him to believe it is pride? It is vanity. Will the dust praise him? Will the worms declare his truth? Go to him and take his shame away.
Ye have goodness now. God forbid I take it from him. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever.